The galaxy's fiercest warrior arrived on Kepler Station with arrogance dripping from every step. Commander Vextol's armored bulk radiated dominance, his claws clicking in rhythm as he surveyed the combat academy with disdain. In his eyes, everything here reeked of weakness. Artificial gravity barely held him down. His species evolved under forces that could flatten tanks. As he moved through the corridors, alien cadets scurried like insects, shimmering Zephyrians, lumbering Granitinians, aquatic Mercians sloshing in suits. They all earned a passing glance. Then he saw them. Humans. Small, pink, soft, an insult to evolution. Vextol scoffed. No claws, no venom, no armor. Fragile things pretending to be warriors. He sneered as a cluster of them walked with misplaced confidence. Instructor Threshnak greeted him, a serpentine naga whose scales shifted nervously between hues. "Welcome, Commander," he said, his tone respectful and unsure. "Your reputation precedes you." Vextol flexed his forearms and smirked. "Good. I'm here to restore order." As Threshnak tried to explain the unique challenges humans presented, Vextol brushed it off. "Deathworlders?" he chuckled. "That's cute. Earth wouldn't survive half a cycle on Krexnara." Inside the training dome, cadets sparred beneath reinforced ceilings. The air buzzed with effort and tension. Vextol scanned the room with condescending curiosity. Then he saw her. Human. Female. Moving like a well-oiled weapon. Zara Mitchell. Every strike she delivered was precise. Her body coiled, released, and reset with disciplined grace. Despite her size, something about her rhythm made Vextol's compound eyes narrow. "Who's that?" he asked. "Cadet Mitchell. One of our finest." Grinned. "Perfect. I'll demonstrate real combat techniques on her." The instructor hesitated, his scales darkening to an ominous shade. "Commander, I advise caution." Advice noted and dismissed. The next morning arrived heavy with dread. Word had spread, Vextol, the undefeated war champion, would spar a human, Zara. Instructors watched helplessly, unable to stop the spectacle. Vextol stood in the ring like royalty in a coliseum. His voice echoed through the bay, booming with condescension. "Today you witness true warfare," he declared. Alien cadets circled the arena, curious, concerned. The humans stood apart, silent, tense. Zara entered the ring without ceremony. Her face was unreadable, her movements calm. No bravado, just purpose. Vextol unleashed a barrage of mockery. "Try not to break too early, cadet." She didn't respond. They squared off. What happened next changed everything. Vextol stood in the center of the ring, arms spread, posture radiating confidence. He pointed toward a combat dummy made of reinforced alloy and struck it with an open palm. The blow cracked like thunder. The dummy folded inward, groaned under the pressure, then bounced back upright. Cadets flinched. Vextol grinned. "This is power, precision, real technique." His compound eyes swept over the crowd. Intimidation was clearly part of the lesson plan. When no one volunteered, he played disappointment with a sneer. "Fine, I'll choose." He scanned the ranks methodically, then settled on the humans. "You," he said, gesturing toward the small one with black hair. Zara Mitchell stepped forward with the casual energy of someone heading to refill her coffee. Calm, relaxed, utterly unbothered. "Name and homeworld," Vextol snapped. "Zara Mitchell, Earth. Is this going to take long? I've got a thermodynamics exam at 400 hours. A few cadets stifled laughter. Vextol's antennae twitched. He began circling her. Zara stayed put, checked her wrist, yawned. "What do you know of combat?" he asked. "Enough," she said. "Enough," he repeated like it tasted bad. "Modesty, how quaint. What training have you had?" "MMA, weapons drills, survival. Nothing special." On the observation deck, Threshnak muttered something that sounded like a prayer. Instructors leaned in, worried, curious, helpless. Vextol stopped circling. "Let me educate you. No natural weapons, no armor, no enhanced senses. You are the galaxy's least threatening species." "Okay," Zara replied. "Okay," he growled. "That's your response?" Zara looked amused. "You think you're intimidating me?" Her tone was light, dry, almost amused. "Are we going to fight, or are you going to lecture me to death?" The silence rippled across the arena. Even the stone-faced Togon looked uneasy. Vextol's exoskeleton darkened, an evolutionary signal for rage. He dropped into stance, Krexari battle-ready, arms spread, eyes locked on every angle. Zara just stood there, relaxed, loose, like someone waiting for a train. "Your guard's weak, stance pathetic," he barked. "You would have been eliminated already." "Would have," she agreed, "but weren't." Vextol flared. "You ignorant child!" He shifted closer, looming. Cadets whispered, "Should we tell him?" Elena shook her head. Too late. Vextol's bulk towered over Zara now. He leaned in, voice dipped low. "Any last words before I begin your lesson?" She looked up, calm, measured. "Yeah, make it quick. I've still got that thermodynamics exam." Then came the moment. He raised the same arm that crushed the dummy. "Just a gentle correction," he said, aiming straight for her face. But what followed would be studied for generations. Vextol's strike landed with textbook precision, a clean, non-lethal palm thrust meant to intimidate, not injure. By his standards, it was barely a tap. But to Zara Mitchell, it was enough. Her head snapped back. A spray of blood burst from her nose, painting the floor in violent reds. The cadets gasped. Even the granite-skinned Togon took a step back. Vextol stood tall, pleased. "Observe," he said, flexing his claws. "Minimal effort, maximum effect." But Zara hadn't moved. She stood there, calm, dripping blood, locked on to Vextol with eyes that no longer looked amused. They looked dangerous. "Interesting," she said, her voice nasal, steady. "Where I come from, we have a saying." Vextol frowned, searching her expression for fear. He found none. "What saying is that, human?" "Never hit someone unless you're ready for them to hit you back." Her tone was casual, bored, more unsettling than rage. On the observation deck, an instructor leaned in. "Look at her pupils," she whispered. Threshnak's scales turned ghost white. "Commander," he called. "Sir, I suggest silence." Something was happening. Vextol could feel it, even if he didn't understand it. Zara's breathing changed. Her stance shifted. Still casual, still calm, but wrong somehow. The kind of wrong that makes predators pause. "Upset, human," he tried to mock. "Did my little tap sting?" "Oh, it didn't hurt," she said. And that was terrifying. "I'm just wondering." "Wondering what?" "How long until the chemicals kick in?" Vextall blinked. Chemicals. Adrenaline, cortisol, noradrenaline. They take about 30 seconds to activate. After that...
She glanced at her watch. I'm not your cadet anymore. You're threatening me. No, she said with a soft smile. I'm giving you a chance. 20 seconds. Around the ring, silence spread like frost. Cadets backed away. Even the humans watched with interest, not fear. This is absurd, Vextall growled. I've defeated warriors twice your size, killed beasts that would devour your kind. 15 seconds. You think biochemistry makes you dangerous. 10. Vextall clenched his fists. 5. Her voice was soft now, almost kind. 4. Vextall shifted his weight. 3. 2. 1. And then Zara moved. No wind-up, no shout, no signal. She was simply somewhere else. Suddenly, at Vextall's side, her hand gripped his elbow joint, tight, focused. How did you? He began. Crack. The sound was final. Vextall's arm snapped like dry wood under pressure. His scream tore across the chamber, high-pitched, alien, raw. The cadets froze. Instructors leaned in. Zara Mitchell, Deathworlder, stood unmoved, calm, efficient. And Vextall? He learned what death looked like in human form. Vextall's dominant arm now hung limp, twisted, shattered, leaking green fluid from jagged cracks in his armor plates. Zara stepped back and wiped her hand across her uniform, calm as ever. There, she said, her tone friendly. Now we're even. Vextall dropped to his knees, cradling his ruined limb. Impossible, impossible, impossible! The cadets scattered. Volteri took flight, hiding in the rafters. Torgon tripped over each other. Even the graceful Chardon fled with musical panic. The announcement blared overhead. Emergency medical team to Training Base 7. But no one looked at Vextall. They were watching the girl. Zara Mitchell, quiet, bloodied, nonchalantly checking her watch. 12:37. Still time to grab lunch before my exam. On the deck above, Threshneck finally spoke. Mitchell, report to medical. I'm fine, just a bloody nose. I've had worse from sneezing too hard. That's not what we're worried about, muttered Instructor Kalaman. The medics arrived, multi-species, battle-tested. Their leader, Sintanandar, took one look and started shouting, Stabilizer, suppressor, full spectrum scan. This isn't a break, it's full structural failure. They lifted Vextall onto the stretcher. His eyes stayed locked on Zara, mixing pain and awe. How? He rasped. You're so small, so soft. Zara looked up casually. Commander, mind if I offer some advice? He nodded, barely. Next time, don't pick the species that had to fight everything on their planet just to survive. She smiled, same polite, pleasant smile she'd worn the whole time. Earth didn't make us soft, it made us terrifying. Vextall was wheeled away, muttering the same word like a broken loop. Impossible, impossible, impossible. Below, the human cadets packed up. Thought he'd last longer, said Alina. Nah, replied Marcus. She switched the second he hit her. Poor guy never had a chance. Threshneck stared at blood on the floor, his scales flickering like broken neon. Kalaman approached quietly. Did anyone tell him about human grip strength? Threshneck hiss-laughed. Or their bone density? Or their reflex speed? Or pain tolerance? Or that they get stronger when they're injured? They stood in quiet reflection as cleanup crews restored the arena. Training Base 7 would look normal tomorrow, but the galaxy would not forget. Commander Keith Moore sat beside Vextall's medical bed, expression stone cold. Every instructor before you was smart enough not to hit a Deathworlder. You're the first. Vextall flinched. Those words hurt worse than Zara's grip. But their files said Earth was mild, low gravity, temperate climate, limited predators. Keithmore didn't blink. Did you read past the first page? Vextall said nothing. The station commander activated his datapad. A hologram filled the air. Earth in all its raw beauty. Let me educate you, Keithmore said calmly. Earth's gravity? higher than average, oxygen levels, intense. And those so-called limited predators? The display shifted. Tigers, wolves, venomous snakes. These aren't monsters they endured, they hunted them. For sport. Vextall stared, rattled. But they're so fragile. Keithmore turned the page. Human anatomy, bone density, muscular acceleration, neural reaction time, hormonal flood response. When threatened, he said, humans enter a chemical state that enhances pain tolerance, strength, and speed far beyond their norm. Vextall whispered, the 30-second countdown. Exactly. You gave her time to activate her kill protocol. Silence fell. Only the hum of healing tech remained. Vextall felt his worldview shift under him, break, rebuild. They tried to warn me, he muttered. They did, Keithmore confirmed. Threshnak submitted 3 requests to postpone your human sessions, wanted time to brief you. You denied them. I thought they were being overcautious about weak primitive life forms. There's nothing primitive that a human species that can crush a Krexi combat limb with bare hands, Keithmore said to leave. What happens now? Court-martial? Keithmore paused, checked his datapad. Cadet Mitchell filed her report. And? She called it a cross-cultural misunderstanding, requested no disciplinary action provided you complete a xenobiology course on Deathworld species. Vextall blinked. She's protecting me, after everything. That's something else about humans. They're forgiving, if you learn. He stepped toward the door. And my assignment? You'll keep teaching. But, Keithmore smiled faintly. Small adjustment. You'll instruct human-only combat courses going forward. Vextall's mandibles twitched. They requested me? Oh yes, said your methods were, very educational. Keithmore left, shoulders shaking with silent laughter. The door is closed. Vextall lay in silence, his compound eyes watching the regeneration field pulse across his shattered arm. Outside, the academy moved on. Cadets sparred, instructors barked drills. Zara Mitchell, no doubt, was halfway through her thermodynamics exam with a broken nose that barely slowed her down. Tomorrow, she'd return, efficient, deadly. And Vextall would be there too, not as his adversary, as his teacher. He looked down at the biocast, then let out a soft clicking sound, first low, then louder, a laugh. After all,
he came to teach them what real combat looked like. Instead, they taught him. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it just breaks you with a smile. Follow Mystic Nature Sci-Fi, where survival isn't instinct, it's art.